Justice League 23.1, aka Darkseid, written by Greg Pak, art by Paulo Siqueira. So this is the origin of Darkseid, more or less, but also tying into what's going on in Batman slash Superman. So we open up once upon a time with a mud grubber, aka a farmer, named Uxas, along with Isaiah, his brother, and Avia, his sister. And turns out they live in a world where there are these gods, these titanic structural beings of like elements and stuff like that, that just fight and bicker and mess with each other all the time, and therefore they are destroying the world beneath them without even noticing. And so that's happening one of these times. We see Isaiah and Avia are praying to the gods, praying for mercy for them, and Uxas is like, "You idiots, they don't care about you. Stop your praying. They don't give a damn about us." And so the gods just start trumping over the world. They laugh, they dance, they do whatever. And Uxas is just like, "God, these I hate these gods so much." And Avia is like, "Oh, we were spared because of our prayers." And he's like, "No, if they heard you, they would have killed you out of spite. They hate us. They despise us." And so Isaiah just backhands his brother after the brother says, "Now be nice, play nice with your sister." And Uxas is like, "No, these gods, someone needs to do something about them." So he sees the mountain that they live on, and he decides enough is enough, and he climbs up into their quarters as they're asleep. And mind you, he is tiny compared to them. So he walks up and he starts whispering in their ears. He starts filling their dreams with doubt and discord. And we see that it basically causes the old gods to go to war. And it looks like Avia is fairly hurt in the conflict as Isaiah is holding what appears to be her body, but she turns out to be fine later. So we see Uxas comes up to the god that is down, and he's like, the god's like, "Hey, how about you pray for me? Give me a prayer." And he's like, "Oh, what's that? You feed off my faith? Well, I don't have faith in you, so die already." And he goes ahead and kills this downed god, and he's like, "Yeah, well," the narrator says, "No one kills a god and gets away with it unless you kill them all." So he goes through and he kills every single one of the gods and takes their power. He drains them of their might, and he transforms from Uxas into Darkseid. So at that point, we see, the world is falling apart. All of these gods are dead. There's only one god left, the Lord of the Sky. Isaiah comes up and pleads for the Lord of the Sky to save his sister. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I don't have enough power to do that, but I am going to put all of my remaining power into you because you seem to be of good heart and noble and whatnot." So he passes along that. Actually, you know what? I think he might be the brother-in-law of Darkseid because he says wife as he dies. So yeah, never mind. They're brother-in-laws. So he gains the power of the Sky God and, of course, becomes High Father. He doesn't say that his name, but, he says that. And he starts fighting against Darkseid and basically saying, "Dude, between us, with our powers combined, we could save everything. We could build it back as it was before." And Darkseid's like, "No." And he just destroys the planet they're on, with those two being the only two left. So at this point, he goes out, he finds Apocalypse, he makes his own people and, tortures them. He makes it a hell. He rules it with an iron fist. And we meet this new character named Kaio, who is a chaos bringer, just a little trickster person on this planet that likes messing with the parademons and whatnot. And as they cause this sort of chaos and infighting amongst the parademons, Kaio laughs, and Darkseid is like, "That's not allowed." So he just immediately Omega beams Kaio. But apparently Kaio is able to teleport, which even Darkseid is not quite sure how to deal with. So he finds one of the teleportation portals and holes that's opened and looks inside of it. And inside he sees Superman and all the other heroes of the planet. And he's like, "Wait a minute. There are other places to conquer? This changes everything." So he goes in, and of course we have this is a Superman. It's not the Superman, it's a Superman. And he's like, all right, this is something. And he's saying, "Where did you get so much power? Why is Superman able to stand against me?" And he doesn't have a good answer for it, but he does see that Isaiah is making his own planet of New Genesis. So At this point, Kaio shows up and taunts Darkseid some more, and Darkseid's like, "Okay, I'm gonna track you down. I'm gonna chase you no matter where you go." So Kaio sends him to all these different planets, and he's able to see all these different versions of these heroes, all these different Supermen and whatnot, until finally he takes him to Earth Zero, where he comes up against the Justice League, as we saw all the way at the beginning of the New 52, and he's able to be fought off. These people are able to fight off Darkseid. And Darkseid, he's like, okay, Kaio, I know you're around. I know you're listening, even if I'm not sure where you are. You're a lot like I was. You know, you're poking the bear. You're fighting against the gods because you don't like the way they do things. And I get it. I understand it. But just know this. I'm not going to let up. And we see he enters into a room laughing with seemingly a whole bunch of dead Supermen inside, like all of the Supermen that he's killed. And it says at the bottom, where will Darkseid strike next? Read Batman / Superman and Earth 2. So showing up there as well. I gotta say, I don't particularly like the Kaio half of things. I think that there could have been a better reason as to why Darkseid was, looking through, trying to find other worlds to conquer. I don't like the idea that it's just a little trickster spirit was like, he, look at me. That being said, I do actually enjoy the backstory of him going out and killing all the old gods and draining them of their power, because it just makes him a little bit more menacing that even when he didn't have power, he was able to kill gods. So what does he do with that power? He becomes just this ultimate evil. I like that. I think it does a lot for his character. It's a good enough book. I just think that the back half is kind of lacking, and I don't particularly feel like it sets up that much of, what's going to happen next, Unless we really dive into the fact of all these alternate Earth Superman are dead, which that's pretty heavy. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 6.5. Would be a 6 if it weren't for the fact that I did like the intro just that little bit extra enough to get it that extra amount. But yeah, it's not great. It's probably not the strongest opening to what should be the biggest bad of Villains Month, but hey, it's where we're at.